Be glad that you are all not fictional characters, because that means you guys don't have to worry about reading stories about yourself. Today's fanfic is a story about me and Meg, mostly about me, but it's about the old web series. And of course, what does this author have to have this story take place after? Oh, I don't know. We'll just have it take place after a very bad incident that happened between the two of us. You know, that time that I decided to be a bloody psychopath and shoot Meg a bunch of times with a phase pistol. Yes, let's have the story take place right after that and make it into a romance. We have long moved past this incident. I went and got therapy because of this incident. I got rid of the phase pistol because of this incident. I tried to make myself a better person because of this incident. So having to read this story really brought up a lot of bad feelings, and, you know, it's made me reflect on things. You know, it even made me go back and rewatch some of the old episodes that were mentioned in this particular fanfic and reflect on things, and, you know, seeing how I was back then. Quite the eye-opener. I guess maybe it's not technically the fault of the author, because from the author's point of view, I'm just a fictional character. Yes, the story is called The Uneasy Path of Love. The author is Rube. This is the only story that this bloke has ever written, and I'm assuming it's a bloke because I don't know anyone that would be called Rube who's a girl. Well, I don't know, maybe Ruby, I don't know. I'm just going to assume it's a boy. This is the only story he wrote. It's rated Fiction M, it's in English, it's a comfort romance. It has 6 chapters, almost 7,000 words, 8 reviews, but in reality it was just the same 2 people reviewing the story, and one of those people was the creator. They go by FanFic Critic, but by reading the comments, it's obvious that it's the creator. It's not Meg. I don't see why Meg would ever seek this story out, because I know she's still traumatized by me doing that to her. So I highly doubt she would be seeking out fanfiction to relive what happened. So 1 faves, 2 follows, and it was written back in February of 2015. So the story isn't complete. But because it's been 7 years since it was last updated, I'm going to assume it's abandoned, so I guess it's fair game to review. Right, so the story opens up from my point of view. It's like my mindset. It's like right after Archangel had scolded me, and it's me moving Meg over to the bed and, you know, feeling bad about what I had done. And, you know, Archangel comes into the room and is acting concerned about me. It's like, in reality, no, she wasn't concerned about me at all. She was concerned about Meg, and she didn't leave the house that day until Meg said it was okay for her to leave the house, because, frankly, she didn't want to leave me alone with Meg, and I don't blame her. If she had it her way, she probably would have taken Meg back to her place, but I digress. So, the second part of the chapter goes from Meg's point of view. Now, this is all, like, in third person. Well, I guess this would be considered second person, kind of. Yeah, second person. So it goes from Meg's point of view, and, like, it's talking about how she's in pain, and that she realizes that I'm in the room with her, and that she's nervous that I might still be angry, and that I might blast her some more with the phase pistol. But then she's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm tucked in bed. If Susan was mad, she wouldn't be tucking me in, and yada, yada, yada. I somehow realize she's awake, and, you know, we kind of exchange words a little bit where, you know, she's, you know, saying that she's not mad at me, and that she's already forgiven me, and that she just needs some space. And I go, I'm kind of upset, and I leave the room, and feels bad that she's afraid of me. And it's like, no. The reality of what happened, I was in the room when Meg woke up, but so was Archangel. And when Meg saw me, if she wasn't so immobilized by what I had done, she probably would have jumped up. I mean, she did flinch, but then she kind of, like, just stiffened up. She just looked like she did briefly make eye contact, but then she just kind of, like, noticed that Archangel was in the room and looked at her, and then Archangel was like, do you want me to stay? And she's like, no, it's fine, I'll be fine. And, you know, I tried to talk to Meg, but I could tell that I was making her very nervous, so I went and gave her some space, and that's when I got confronted by Lesbian Jesus. And then Lesbian Jesus was like, oh, maybe you should just have Archangel talk to her. But at that point, when I went to go see if Archangel was still in the house, she had left, and so yes. So, that was the first chapter. So, second chapter, it takes place with me, being a creep in Meg's doorway, watching her review the Edward fanfic. Yes, might as well address that. So apparently, the old web show, it not only spied on our personal stuff, it showed nightmares that we would have. Well, particularly nightmares that Meg would have. I don't know if it ever showed any of my nightmares, but it showed a nightmare that she had, of me blasting her with a phase pistol, except it looked like I was blasting her with a photon torpedo instead of a phase pistol. So yes, that really gave me quite the start when I saw that, because like I said before, I did rewatch those episodes that were mentioned in this story. It was bad enough rewatching the Pirate Fairy episode, or the Red Fairy, not Pirate Fairy, and that was the initial incident, and then rewatching Edward, and it was like, bloody fucking Christ. So anyway, this story is just this chapter, is just a retelling of the conversation that Meg and I had at the end of that episode, because of course the bloody web show spied on our conversation afterwards. This story made the conversation be more coherent and fluffy, when in reality I wanted to reach through the screen and slap myself, because at one point I'm like, oh, if you had killed yourself, then yes, you would have deserved me blasting you. And it's like, no. I'll give myself credit, my younger self credit. I did backpedal a little bit, but still, the fact that I even said that. And, to this day, I know Meg's probably going to watch this episode, but that incident with the phase pistol, I had planned that. Like, even before she had done that Day of the Bonnie episode. I had planned it. I had planned, if she had ever fucked up, or my definition of her fucking up, that I would punish her by blasting her a bunch of times with the phase pistol. I never told Meg that. This is my first time that I'm admitting it out loud. And, it makes me very sick to my stomach that I did that. The day that I had watched the Day of the Bonnie episode. It was at night. Meg was asleep. And I almost went into her room and blasted her. Well, almost. I didn't, but I almost did. Almost went into her room to blast her while she was asleep in bed. And I'm very glad I didn't. I had enough time to cool down. I had enough time to think things through, but no, I was determined. Like, I stayed awake. I was sitting on my bed, staring at the door, holding the bloody phase pistol, waiting for her to wake up. I heard her wake up, and I waited a bit. And then when I came out of the room, and her coming out of the closet, getting dressed, gearing up to do a review. Yeah. So yes, this... You can see why it was hard to read this bloody story, especially when it's trying to fluff up what happened in reality. So, the next chapter, this one takes place during the 2012 Halloween special. It's pretty much a retelling of what happened outside. Like, a lot of the story is just a retelling of stuff that happened in the old web show. It's just fluffier. And in this part, it's more or less the same, except in this version, Lesbian Jesus doesn't show up, and in this version, I kiss Meg on the cheek a couple of times, and then we have dinner, and the story, or the chapter ends with me giving Meg a massage, and it starts doing the whole cliched thing that, after I give her a massage, she falls asleep, so then, I tuck her into bed, I tuck her into bed, and that her hair's up in a ponytail, and I carefully pull the hair tie out, and then I'm, like, caressing her hair, and then I have this, what am I doing thing, and the chapter ends like that. It's the cliched, I realise that I have feelings for my friend here. One of those stupid cliched baloney, meh. So, fourth chapter. Okay, so the fourth chapter, for once, does something original and doesn't have, like, a reenactment from the old web show. It has it be that I'm in my room reading, and that I realize that it's way too quiet in Meg's room. So I go in to investigate, and Meg's unconscious at her desk. I assume the worst and think that she might have offed herself, so I rush over, feel around her neck. Her neck doesn't have a gash in it, and she has a pulse. and I realize that she's sleeping. So it's implied that Meg was reading a story that was so boring that she had fallen asleep. Now, this might have been believable, but the thing is, the camera was on, so it was implied that she was reading, like on the old web show, Meg would read the story out loud. So it was implying that Meg was reading the fanfic out loud, blah, 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 falls asleep. It's like, no, that would not happen. Maybe if she was drunk or it was in the middle of the night, but no. That would not realistically happen. So, I wake Meg up and, she's worried that she had done something. And, I say, oh no, you just fell asleep. And so, like in the last chapter, I decided to give her a massage, but this time it's on bare skin. And I want to focus on her lower back because that was where she had gotten shot with the phase pistol. No, I rewatched the episode and the dream sequence both clearly show that when I was shooting her, it was in her abdomen, like chest/abdomen. So if I were to be giving her a massage to ease her pain, it would be on her abdomen, which that would not work because Meg is severely ticklish around that area, so that would not work. Okay, that was too much information that you guys do not need to know. Let's move forward. So again, I give her a massage, and again, she falls asleep, and, I take her hair out and well, she had her hair up in a bun, so I loosen the bun, and I do this thing where I start caressing her face, and again, I'm like, oh, bloody hell, what am I doing? So, yes. That cliche. So then the fifth chapter. The fifth chapter takes place with episode 199, and this one really, really pissed me off because this one, let's talk about what happens in the chapter first. So I tell Meg to wrap up the review, and she wraps up the review, and then I admit that I heard everything that she had said. So Meg's like freaking out and apologizing about, keeping the fanfics a secret, and then, I'm trying to say something to her, but then she keeps interrupting, and then she's like, oh, I'm sorry about making fun of you, it was unintentional, blah, 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 and I'm trying to say something, but then she just keeps on going on. She's like, oh, I know you're mad, I should have told you, and then I panicked, and da-da-da, and then, Meg makes a point of saying, it is kind of creepy when, I wake up and you're standing over me, and yes, so I tell Meg to calm down, that I'm not mad, and that I'm a little annoyed, but the only reason why I'm annoyed was because, we have read worse stories about ourselves up until that point, so me being mad made no sense. Well, in this story, it made no sense. So, yes, and this chapter just kind of ends with, like, us going downstairs to make dinner. And the reason why this chapter pissed me off was because in reality, I was being an ass. I mean, it didn't show it. The web show, thankfully, did not show what happened after, Meg wrapped up the episode, but I did give Meg a piece of my mind. It was being rather cross with her, and I had no reason to be. But again, I was a bloody ass back then. In fact, a lot of my relationship with Meg back in those days was me being a bloody ass. Let's be real. I was a bloody ass. So yes, this story just completely, glorified. It's like, hey, no, I'm not really mad. It's like, no, it was bloody stupid. And so, the final chapter that this author posted opens up with a dream sequence about me and Meg gearing up to shag. And then I wake up, and I'm all flustered. So, I go and leave the room. It's like I slept in late, apparently, because apparently the story thinks I get up at the crack of dawn. I mean, Meg does, and because, she goes to work, but sometimes she'll sleep in. Anyway, so I'm all flustered, and I say, oh, I was just reading an engaging book, but Meg's like, oh, okay, and noticing that I'm acting off. And then I go into the bathroom to take a shower, and I realize that I'm still aroused. And I will give the author credit, at least they didn't go into a thing about me, relieving my arousal, because I thought they were going to go in that direction. And then in the story, I'm thinking that the real reason why I'm developing feelings for Meg is because of lesbian Jesus. So I say her name out loud, and like bloody Beetlejuice, she just shows up. And, she's like, as much as I would love to take credit for making you fall in love, I can't. This feeling, that's yours. That's all you. And, she asks, oh, have you ever been in love before? And I'm like, oh, no, I haven't. She's like, oh, well, that's why you don't realize that it's love. And that's pretty much how the bloody story ends. Like, again, this is an incomplete story, but it's not going to, obviously the author is not going to complete it. Like, if this story wasn't about us, I don't think I would mind it too much. And it's not that I don't like it because of us being a couple. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem is when this story takes place and how this story tries to glorify something that was not a happy time for either of us. You know. I mean, it was kind of like the Overlooked Feelings story, where that takes place after Meg killed me, but even that I would say was more realistic than this. Because, you know, how I felt about Meg after that incident was oddly... It caused me to care about her more. It's hard to explain. Like, I think it was because, yes, she had done that, but she felt bad about it, and when she saw that it messed me up, you know, mentally, she erased my memories, not to, you know, undo what she had done to make herself feel better. She did it for me. She did it to help me. And I think that's why she was so pissed off that I deliberately went and got my memories back, because, you know, she was afraid that I would snap. I mean, I do think the memories did kind of affect me, but not, I don't know. I think it didn't help things, but I think even if I hadn't gotten my memories back, I still would have turned into bloody asshole woman. Because even before the Ringmaster J5 incident, I was a bit of an ass to Meg. I mean, let's be real. You know, I find out about her existence, dig through family records to find out that she's like a distant relative of mine. So when I got kicked out by my parents, I, you know, went on a whim to travel across the pond to meet with this person. She took me in. She didn't have to, but she took me in. She begged her parents to let me stay with them, and they did. And how do I thank her? By being a bloody asshole, by making fun of her all the time. I mean, for Christ's sake, I don't even think I called her by her real name for the first few months that I lived there. Jeez, you know, I treated her very badly. It's a wonder that she snapped and killed me at that time. But I digress. Well, if you guys liked today's episode, please be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm going to keep doing this catchphrase because, one of you said that you liked it, and no one else really commented about it afterwards. I'm going to assume that it's fine for me to keep doing it, so sorry, Meg. Well, I'll see you all next time. Until then, cheerio. Hey. Oh, hey. Which book are you on right now? Oh, the 5th book. It's a favorite of mine. Speaking of books, I started reading the 1st book. It's not bad. Good. I told you you'd like them. I'm assuming you just finished filming an episode of your web series? Oh, yes, wanted to talk to you about that, actually, just to give you a heads up, because you might not want to watch this episode. Okay, why is that? Well, this episode, it's about us. Okay. Well, it takes place after the phase pistol incident. Oh. Okay. Yes, it's a romance story, but it takes place after the phase pistol incident, and I just wanted to warn you that it kind of retouches on things that happened during that time, so I just wanted to give you a heads up, just to warn you. If you don't want to watch the episode, that is fine. Well, thank you for the warning, Sue, but I will be watching the episode. Are you sure? I'm sure. I think I can handle it. All right, I just, wanted to give you a heads up. What are your thoughts on this story? I mean, you'll see in the episode my opinions on it. All I'll say is that it did heavily annoy me. I mean, I guess you could say there's worse stories out there about us. I mean, the Milo Kitty stories, those bloody stories about me spanking you and whatnot, but I mean, I think if the story wasn't about us, and if it didn't, well, more like not necessarily not about us. I don't have a problem with that, obviously. But if it wasn't taking place after the bloody face pistol incident and trying to sugarcoat things, yeah, so. Okay. It'll be interesting watch, to say the least. Meg, I want to ask you something. Okay? Do you still have nightmares about that day? Why are you asking? Well, I'm asking because the old web show, it didn't just show personal conversations between the two of us. It showed a couple of your nightmares, as far as I know. It did. Yes. One nightmare, it was from the Edward episode. The episode opens up with like a reimagining of me blasting you with the phase pistols. More or less the same of how it actually went down. The only difference was is that the room was a lot darker. There was like this weird music playing. There was rain, because it was raining in your room for some reason. And the blasts coming out of the phase pistol looked like photon torpedoes. Yep, that's pretty spot on. The other dream, well, you told me about this dream. I remember that, or more like I forced you to tell me about this dream. But it was during one of your Halloween specials. It was after I had blasted you the first time with the phase pistol out of anger, and it was the nightmare that you had told me about, where you're being chased around the house by a Grim Reaper, and then it turned out to be me, and I shoot you with an actual gun, and you wake up. But back to my original question. Yes, I do sometimes still have nightmares. Do you have them often? No, I mean, I did have one recently, but it wasn't of back then. It was of how you are now. About me now? Meg, I wouldn't. I know you can't always control your dreams, Sue. It's not that big of a deal. Just, I know you wouldn't do that now. Right. There is one more thing that I want to ask you. It's something that I've suspected for a while, but I just need to know. Okay. Did you you never fully healed from that incident, did you? No. How often does it bother you? Not too often. It's, well, it's like with the weather. As you get older, when the weather is bad, you have like aching joints and stuff. Well, it's like that. Okay, guess I can understand that. And I mean, it does sometimes flare up from time to time, but it flares up. What do you mean? Sometimes when you get angry, and even though I know you're not mad at me, sometimes it flares up like I'm getting shot again. Not intensely, but enough to. Bloody hell, Meg, I'm sorry. So, it happened years ago. There's nothing that can be done about it now. It happened years ago. I'm not mad at you for it. I know, but if I hadn't done that, what happened, happened. It's okay. I'm fine. I know I've apologized in the past, and I know it's in the past, but I am sorry. And, I'm not just sorry for that. I'm sorry about how I treated you back then as a whole. I was not nice to you at all. So, it's very ungrateful, actually, after everything you had done, taking me in after my parents had abandoned me, and I was nothing but a stranger to you. It's no wonder that you snapped that time and killed me. Do not justify me doing that. What I did was wrong. I never should have done that. You didn't take death seriously back then, love. And besides, I was being sneaky behind your back, and in in a sense, I was kind of making fun of you when I did that first freak out episode. It doesn't matter if you were doing that or not, Sue. That's not justification for what I did. I'm not saying that you were justified in doing it. I'm just saying that I understand. And you never did anything like that again afterwards. Even though I had done several things afterwards that, let's be real, I would have deserved it if you had. Like what exactly? Well, killing Archangel, although in hindsight. Let's not talk about her. Right, she's a touchy subject. And the whole thing with Elle. Frankly, I was half expecting you to when I had done that. I had promised you that I never would. And it never even crossed my mind. I could never do anything like that to you again, and you know that. Besides, Sue, you've come a long way since then. You've come a very long way. We have both come a long way. But I wanted to thank you for sticking by me for as long as you have, and again, I'm sincerely sorry about how I was back then, and I do hope that I've been better. You have been. You've been very good to me, Sue. Okay? Right. Well, I think I'll cook us up some grub. I'll let you know when it's ready, dear. Okay, thank you. And Meg, I love you. I love you too, Sue.